Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Silwat Saeed. I'm currently Secretary, Environment Protection, Climate Change Department in Government of the Punjab. And with me is my entire team working in the department that you have just heard about Mr. Imran Hamid Sheikh, the DG, Environment Protection Agency, Government of the Punjab, and Mr. Tariq, Project Directors, our SPIU, which is a specialized unit working for the greener interventions being done with the help of World Bank in Government of the Punjab. So I'm here thanks to Dawn Media and their team that they've invited the Environment Protection and Climate Change Department to speak about as to how the environment governance is actually being transformed currently at the subnational level. And during the last 1.5 years, there has been this whole transformative process whereby you earlier saw the kind of changes being brought about not only in legislative frameworks, but also administratively, and our governance paradigm has been completely realigned because of the challenge that we face. And with each coming year, the kind of climate change devastation that you would see. So in view of that huge challenge, the whole of the government approach has actually been adopted. And now, because Dawn Media has dedicated this conference to Breathe Pakistan and the air that we breathe, so I would be telling you briefly about as to how are we looking at this challenge and how with the full force and commitment has this challenge been taken up by the government and by the team. Unprecedentedly, you would be seeing some of the interventions that have already been done and some are in the offing. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not here actually to tell you as to what kind of a bad air day would be looking like, because all of us have actually experienced that during the last decade or so. The kind of tightness that we feel in our chest, the kind of worry that engulfs whenever we see our progeny breathing this toxic air, especially during the smog times from October till January, February. So ladies and gentlemen, this problem is not some distant abstract thing. It is right in front of us, and we need to take this on with a very proactive approach. Some of the proactive approaches that we have taken up, I'll be discussing that later in my presentation. But let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that this issue this is not something which we have confronted for the first time ever. With the advancement in industrialization in Europe, in the last century, you would be seeing such kind of scene every morning. And because it is unfortunate that prior to any regulation comes such kind of industrialization that gives rise to these challenges and air pollution, quality deterioration. Pakistan again now, because the whole region is now experiencing this rapid urban growth. Pakistan is among the top most countries which are facing this unprecedented urbanization in the region. So the issue again is not this is not peculiar to this country alone, but it is a regional issue, and all the region, the South Asian region, is actually experiencing this kind of deteriorated air quality. So this urbanization has also resulted in this huge menace of smog. But let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that the smog is just a manifestation of the deteriorated air quality, which becomes tangible or palpable because of the temperature inversions and the fog phenomena. But the air quality is almost always not appropriate, not up to the mark, And this challenge is not a seasonal challenge, it is a year-round challenge for all of us. However, ladies and gentlemen, this phenomena that we breathe in, the smog phenomena, it is also compounded not only because of the urbanization or the industrial growth, but also because of this unique area of this entire region is actually the foothills of Himalayas. And because of the foothills, they would act as a lid when all the pollutants from the region actually get trapped, and they then whirl around within the cities in the region, not only in Pakistan, but also in India, in Bangladesh, Nepal, and many other countries. Let's move forward, Fatma. Anyhow, I think this gets stuck up. Okay, so the Lahore that we would know in our childhood, which was a city of gardens and of clean air and of such kind of scenes around us, has now become, all the monuments would then be engulfed in that ominous kind of a haze in the months that are following in November, December, January. However, as I spoke about some of the interventions that are being taken up at the subnational level, and you would be seeing that this is for the first time ever that the whole development program of the government of Punjab has actually been climate tagged. And you would be seeing that around transport sector has been given around 269 billion rupees that has been tagged for climate change mitigation and adaptation programs. Similarly, the next big thing is the capacity building and institutional strengthening of our government agencies and departments. Water resources, 62 billion, and forestry, again, a big emphasis has been laid on making our wasteland into greenlands and increasing the green cover for carbon sequestration and forestry, 54 billion, so many other sectors, because this is a cross-sectoral issue and no one agency or sector can actually handle or cope with this. Next. So, as we all know that this is a complex phenomena, and the real villain is not a single entity which you can point out and you can fix. Next. So I was talking about the urbanization rate. So by 2035, the Lahore Chamber had earlier published a report which says that by 2035, Lahore will be the largest city in the country. Next. So this is the time actually to act and to act together for this, this cause, which is to be shared, the responsibility for which is to be shared by all of us sitting here, our progeny, our next generation, and we have planned a whole program around this theme. Next, Chalay. So the three-pronged approach that we have adopted for us is firstly to monitor the quality of air that we breathe, then to mitigate, and finally to engage with the citizenry and to make them empowered, to make them informed, to make the right decisions in order to ameliorate the situation. Next, Chalay. So we all must understand that without localized data, there is nothing that can work. Without the solid data sets, no intervention can actually work. And let me tell you that I think earlier decade, the preceding decade that we saw, the whole of the government was actually groping in the dark. We didn't know as to what is happening with us, what actually is wrong, where are the pollutants coming from, what are its composition, and how well can we address those. Next. So this situation is now entirely changed. During the last 1 year, the number of air quality, reference grade air quality monitors, they have increased from 2 to 41 right now, and within the next 6 to 7 months, the number is the largest in whole of the country. So we are going to build that air quality network whereby you would be seeing as to what are the real reasons for this air quality deterioration, where are the air coming from, how do those air actually affect which areas, and how can we plan our mitigation strategies as per the data. Next. And that insight that has been made available by these air quality monitors has enabled us for the first time ever in this country that air quality AQI has actually been now forecasted, not only on daily basis, but for the 7 long days ahead, so that not only the citizenry can plan their week ahead, but also for our enforcement teams to execute the localized operations whereby any hotspot emerges. And for hour by hour, this AQI forecast is then reimagined, recalculated, recalibrated, and brought to the doorsteps of each of our citizens. Next. So the actual thing was not just to understand what is the condition, but also why is this condition affecting us. So a detailed source apportionment study is currently being undertaken by the government to see as to why this air that we are breathing is full of such pollutants that are affecting our health. And the initial results of this study are already known to us. And they would be telling you that in winter, PM 2.5 is actually the main culprit that is dominated by secondary source aerosol. And in summer, dust is the main contributor for the air quality deterioration. However, this air that we are breathing in and the PM 2.5, which we are discussing, it is not solely because of our own doing, but also certain other regional factors affect us. And you would see that the air, not only from India, but also from Iran, Afghanistan, and Central Asia is actually reaching Pakistan, reaching Lahore, and affecting the air quality here. Black carbon, as you have seen earlier, the kind of enforcement that is being taken by our DG Saab on black carbon, that is unparalleled. You would not have seen such kind of intervention anywhere. Now, whole of Lahore is clear. It's clean of any black carbon, and this I can assure you on personal, assurance. So previous emission inventories that we had, they would be blaming certain sectors. Another study would be, identifying certain other sectors. So then we tried to have a source apportionment study, which has been commissioned already, and SPARCO is doing this with in consultation with us. And very soon, the results of this study would be made available publicly to each one of you. Next. Next. Fatma, let's move forward. So enforcement mechanism, some of the features of this enforcement paradigm you have already seen. Let me tell you, there was no enforcement environment protection force available. This is an idea which has been experimented for the very first time. And this is actually giving miraculous results, because now they are there with such a, such a specialized kind of an equipment with them, that any enforcement now becomes a highly specialized job. And this environment protection force currently in Lahore is now being expanded to rest of the Punjab. Initially, the 10 hotspot districts where industrial activity is far more, that areas have been prioritized. But next year, this would be expanded to all the districts in the Punjab. So they have been given this thermal drones also to keep their surveillance very scientific and also evidence-based, because you would be seeing and hearing many complaints that there were certain instances of maladministration or certain fleecing by certain authorities. That idea has been totally transformed, and now every action, every enforcement actually flows from the kind of surveillance that we do and the evidence that we create behind it. Next challenge. These smoke guns, both the esteemed ministers also talked about, senior minister earlier and our federal minister, Minister of Climate Change, both spoke about. This is an experimentation which is being for the first time in Pakistan, in Lahore. 15 smoke cannons have been deployed here, and they are there to actually implement certain localized operations. And as you would be seeing, this is a scene from yesterday, that these four cannons actually made a rainbow of their own in the city. Next challenge. Fatma, let's move forward. Okay, next. Yes, so 261,000 vehicles have already been tested. So again, this is for the first time ever that the emission testing regime was introduced in the city. And now all of our cities are being added to this paradigm. Very soon, you would be seeing all of our high HTVs, our two-wheelers, three-wheelers also being brought into the fold of this emission testing regime. Then this fuel quality testing, which was never thought of at the subnational level, was also introduced in the Punjab. And now we have tested around 179 fuel stations. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, the situation here again is not that bright again, and we need to be very thoughtful as to where we get our fuel from, because around 179 stations checked and more than 19% of these tests got failed. So we need to be very cautious, and this data we are sharing with all of our population, all of our citizenry, so that they can make best decisions. And we need to be as transparent as possible to bridge that trust deficit that had always existed, and no effort that the government was actually making could actually materialize in kind of a behavioral change within the citizenry because of that trust deficit. So we are trying to bridge that trust deficit. Next, Shalin. And then we have also entered into certain collaborations with our partners, not only within the government, but also outside, with the private sector, with certain civil society agencies, our multilateral partners, they are all there. And we are also having a public feedback, which is the kind of loop that we always dreamt of, that we want our citizens to be felt, they must feel that they are being heard, that their issues are being addressed, and then they are given that kind of a feedback. Their complaints are actually addressed, and then our whole social media is actually aligned with this kind of a feedback loop. Next. Okay, so this is one big thing that we have just, tried, and you must be seeing a small, I think, smiley kind of a face with you. They've been distributed on your seats. So if you can scan that, how many of you have actually scanned that QR code which was given to you? If any of you has actually experimented with this, have you, not a single one has tried that? Okay. So if you can scan that, you would be interacting with our AI-enabled chatbot, which has been designed indigenously, which has been thought about, as a very wild thought, but then this has actually been executed, made into a reality, and now each one of us can go to our WhatsApp and then interact with that chatbot. You have been given this kind of a sticker. So you can all scan that on your mobile phones, and I would urge you to at least give it one try and ask any question that you feel like about air quality. And this chatbot, this is AI-enabled chatbot, would be trying to give you solid, verifiable, evidence-based, responses. And we would rather encourage you to use it more and more so that this chatbot is made more and more better, more and more responsive to your expectations. Next. And then this is not the only thing that we did. Till last year, we did not have any insight as to what is happening on daily basis, and no data was made available to the researchers, to our students, to the academia to make further research into the smog that we encounter every day. But now, live dashboard has been made available to the public, and I would be sharing the link again at the end of the presentation, where you can go to this link and you can see for yourselves as to how this air quality monitoring stations and our AQI forecasting model has made us, enabled to give you this kind of insight into the air quality. Next. Okay, so Senior Minister also talked about it, the smart schools, the waste-wise schools, which have been envisioned in consultation with School Education Department, and all the public and private schools, they have been tasked to bring about that behavioral change right at the initial years. So every school has been given a target of now at least starting with the 5 segregated baskets for the waste, but later on they will be blown into a full-fledged kind of a green school certification program, and the schools would the students would be encouraged to identify the green behavior that they can act upon in their schools. Next. And yes, this is again one completely out of the box kind of a thing, which is a way of communicating with our youth in a very direct and in a very transparent manner. So this is #IamForClimate. I would also request you that once you start using your social media, which we all do, so if you can type I am for climate, you would be seeing our younger generation, which is very bright, very capable, and very alive to the kind of problems that we face. This I am for climate is one platform which is students to think about the climate change and how best can we address that, not only as an individual, but as community and as a society. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. This is just a brief snapshot of the kind of governance horizon that we have set for ourselves. And this agenda is not going to end here. Maybe next year when we come to this very conference, when Dawn Media would be inviting us as a partner for this very significant, important conference, maybe we would be having many other interventions which we can think about, which we can implement with the help of all of you. Thank you so much.